Hello students, session 3 continuation, spotting errors. In each of the following questions, you have to find out which part of the sentence has an error. If there is no mistake, the answer is no error, which we have to identify. So let us move to the questions. Question number 1. It is written in Gita that God incarnates himself in times of trouble. Is there any correction required in this statement? Let us see the first part. It is written in Gita. Whether it should be it is written in Gita or some article is required in this, we need to add an article before Gita as a prefix. So it should be it is written in the Gita that God incarnates himself in times of trouble. So the correction is required in part A. Now let us move to question number 2. It is being rainy day. We decided not to go out but to stay at home and watch a movie. Is there any error in this statement? Let us see the first part. It is being rainy day. Again, here there is a question whether we need to add an article in this or it is not required. If we just look at things closely, we can understand that an article is required. Instead of saying it is being rainy day, we need to say it is being a rainy day. We decided not to go out. So the correction is required in the first part where being rainy day should be replaced with being a rainy day. Now let us move to the question number 3. The blinds deserve our sympathy. A simple statement. The blinds deserve our sympathy. Is there any correction required in this? The blinds deserve. So if you see in the first part, instead of saying the blinds, you can say the blind deserve our sympathy. Instead of saying the blinds, plural, we can have it as the blind deserve our sympathy. Now let us move to question number 4. Concurrent with his program, educational institutions may be urged to inculcate patriotism in each and every one of its pupils. Whether the statement is perfectly correct, let us see. Concurrent with this program, yes, there seems to be no correction required in this. Same way in part B, educational institutions may be urged. Even here, there seems no correction required. Let us see the part C. To inculcate patriotism, that means to educate patriotism or to learn patriotism. Now, let us move to the fourth part. It in each and every one of its pupils. Is there any correction required here? Yes, there is correction required. Instead of saying in each and every one of its pupils, it should be in each and every one of their pupil. Instead of its, it should be their. So the correction is required in fourth part. That means part D. So it should be replaced with their. Now let us move to question number 5. She had shifted her residence to this city to be close with the child she had wanted to adopt. So let us see the first part. She had shifted her residence. That means changing the residence from the present location to a new location. Second part, to this city to be. So here too there is no correction required as far as the verb or the preposition is concerned. Now let us see the third part. Close with the child. Whether close with the child is appropriate? No. Instead of saying with, it should be to. Close to the child she had wanted to adopt rather than saying close with the child to adopt. Okay. So now let us move to question number 6. The author's vision, suffused by an innocence and warmth, may not correspond to the country as it is today. Is there any correction required here? The author's vision, suffused by an innocence and warmth, may not correspond to the country as it is today. So let us see the first part of the statement, the author's vision. So that means the author's opinion or the author's mindset. So no correction is required in the first part. Let us see the second part, suffused by an innocence and warmth. So is it suffused by an innocence or suffused with an innocence? That means something which is getting inculcated or something which is getting into the author's mind. So by should be replaced by with. So the correction is required in part B, where it should be suffused with an innocence and warmth instead of suffused by an innocence and warmth. Now let us move to question number 7. And though one did not quite believe his claim, one saw no harm in granting him permission. Is there any correction required in this statement? Let us see the first part. And though one did not. So that means it is trying to say an opinion or an intention. So where no correction seems to be required. Let us see the second part. Quite believe his claim. That means that opinion or the stance is not questionable. So second part also is clear. Now let us move to the third part. One saw no harm. That means people can't see any harm in the statement being expressed in granting him permission. In granting him permission means some option or some privilege is being given. So here too there seems to be no error. Hence we can choose option E, that is no error. Seventh question is without an error. So we have to choose option E. Now let us move to question number 8. If you hate me, then you should leave my house. If you hate me, then you should leave my house. Is there any error? Let us see in first part of the statement. If you hate me, yes, clear. That means if you dislike, then you should. So is it necessary that then should be used? Instead of saying if you hate me, then you should leave my house, you can say if you hate me, you should lose my house. So because of a stance, what is the end result? What is to be done? So if you are not happy with me, you have to leave the house. So that is what it is trying to say. So rather than saying then, it should be you should leave my house. If you hate me, you should leave my house. So correction is required in part B. Now let us move to question number 9. When he went out, he left the radio on so that his parents shall think that he was still in the house. Is there any error? See the first part. When he went out, that means when he is moving out or when he has left the house, he left the radio on. That means the radio was in on condition. And so that his parents shall think. So when he is switching on the radio and leaving the house, so parents may think that he was still in the house. Yes. So even here there seems to be no error, and hence question number 9 seems to be perfectly all right and no correction is required. So the correct option will be option E, no error. Now let us move to the question number 10. More leisure as well as an abundance of goods are attainable through automation. Is there any correction required? Let us see the first part. More leisure as well as an abundance of goods. So when goods are left in abundance, no correction is required in the first part. Are attainable. Is it are attainable or it should have a different approach? So instead of saying are attainable, it should be is attainable through automation. So anything that is in process or that has to be controlled is achievable or attainable through automation. So the correction is required in part B, where are should be replaced with is. Let us move to question number 11. I and you know each other for the last 6 years. Is there any error in this statement? I and you know each other for the last 6 years. Is there any correction required? Let us see the first part, I and you. So there seems to be no error. And let us see the second part. Is it know each other? Since it is for the last 6 years means, so that means for over a period. So in that case, we need to say known each other rather than saying no. No is the present situation and known is from the past. Hence, I and you known each other for the last year 6 years will be the appropriate sentence or statement.